and we have not received welcome invitations from any of them yet.
If you got in front of Thune right now, what would you say to his face?
I don't know. I don't know right now. You'd have to come back to me on that one.
I'll come back to you on that. We have evidence from time to time that some Republicans catch certain important guests like yourself on this program. Paul Rakoff, I'll let you jump in.
81 years ago, young Americans stood up in defense of our values. And every generation of American veterans and military folks have stepped forward to defend our values. Some of them have laid their lives on the line, given their bodies. And now, again, veterans around the country, in D.C. and in shadow rallies, 40, I think, around the country, are standing up in defense of our values. Because that's really what this is. This is an attack on our values. It's an attack on our community, but it's also an attack on all Americans. And it's starting with us. You and I have been talking about this for months. I think it's more than a canary in a coal mine. It's really a harbinger of what is to come. And what you're seeing with veterans is that they are holding the line in defense of our democracy, of our values, but also they have been uniquely targeted in these cuts. They disproportionately serve 1/3 of federal workers are veterans, and they are being fired. And they're standing up and saying no to that because it's wrong. We want to continue to serve. But they're also saying no to the entire atmosphere of intimidation, of threatening to fire people who serve across the government. And they're answering the call. And I think that they're becoming what I called, I think in the past, a patriotic purge. Trump led by purging people in the military and veterans and FBI folks, and now they're forming the backbone of the opposition. And Elon Musk is leaving Washington with a pretty notable distinction. He's probably fired more veterans in 6 months than anyone in American history.
Wow.
And that is politically radioactive. And I think Trump is going to probably take advantage of that. But that's what they're both facing now, is this is uniquely unpopular across partisan lines, and veterans are punching back first. And I think what happened in Washington today is just the beginning, and Americans will follow.
I mean, Trump is a symptom of all this, obviously, but the enablers, to me, feel like as important of a part of the story. I mean, House Republicans represent people that, at least in the old days, they used to know. People used to know the veterans in their community. They would be involved in showing the government's gratitude and appreciation. They know where the VA hospitals are. They in normal times, fight for them. I mean, what is happening in our politics that Republicans in the House and Senate aren't being held accountable for what they're doing to our veterans?
I don't think they've gone back to their communities enough, and I think you're going to see that this summer. Because the VA cuts and attacks were also after the other cuts, right? We saw first at DOD, Hegseth was in place, Collins came afterward, and I've long said that everything they're doing in this country, they're starting at the Pentagon. Well, HHS and FBI and the VA are coming in line after that. So you're going to see similar types of cuts. You could see similar compromises of data. Think about all the healthcare data that's up for grabs that Elon Musk could now hold hostage because he's had folks inside the Department of Veterans Affairs. And of course, there's the symbolic value of being able to first take down the Pentagon, put Hegseth there. VA's kind of been below the radar for most Americans, but for veterans, it's front and center. And I think especially this summer, you're going to hear from veterans, and Republicans are going to hear from veterans, especially in their home districts.
Anything that you do would be better than spending it on a parade to stroke the ego of this guy.
Paul?
I think the money's important, but the attack on our values is even more important, because the part about the parade that's most significant is this is un-American. We don't do that here. That's what they do in North Korea. That's what they do in Russia. And it's bigger than just the political stunt that it will become for Trump. You're asking the troops to be a part of a political parade. So you're thrusting them into the middle of his culture war, of his political agenda, where there will undoubtedly be, I'm sure, peaceful protests to counter-protest the parade. But he's continuing to thrust our veterans and our military into the most divisive issues of our time, whether it's the parade, it's the border, it's gay rights. I mean, everything. He's using the troops as a cudgel to try to drive that through, but there are actually troops involved. So 19 and 20-year-olds are going to have to march in this thing on his birthday, next week in Washington, and I think they're going to have a problem with how it feels in their hearts. It's not what they signed up for, and that's what I think should be most outrageous to all Americans.
Well, it's the reporting about the first time he tried to do this. I think his first idea of having a military parade for himself, which, as you said, he could have only, I think he came back from Bastille Day celebrations in France and had seen it, but as a tradition, it happens only in North Korea. I'm not sure that Russia still does them, and I don't think China does regularly as well. Trump wanted this for his birthday, and in the reporting about the efforts to scuttle this, it came out that he didn't want any wounded veterans marching with him. He didn't want any amputees or anyone who had been wounded in service of their country. And that is the vein of reporting that The Atlantic pursued that ultimately culminates in, quote, suckers and losers. The only people that die for their country are, quote, suckers and losers. So it feels like it's a big political stink bomb for Donald Trump.
Yes, and it continues to be a political prop that he wants to use. I mean, that's how he uses Hegseth. That's how he uses Tulsi Gabbard. It's how he uses a lot of people in uniform. And when they push back, like Milley did, he goes in a different direction. But there was also another
different
piece
direction. He's threatened to court-martial.
Yeah. I mean, there was also something else that was, I don't think, reported at all or underreported. Usually on Memorial Day, there is a White House reception that the president hosts before Arlington, like last week. That didn't happen this year. He didn't do it. And it's been precedent that the president always does that. All the veterans groups, a lot of the people who are marching today go to the White House, and then everybody goes together to Arlington. But that was canceled.
Why?
I don't know why. That's what I hope every reporter in America asks him today.
I'll try to get that question asked.